if it'll go live, but there it is.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Facebook Live. Let me straighten out my mouth. This is Bob Spitz, and I'm along with Tony Whistler. And joining us today, very special guest, is Sophia from B&B Foreign Auto Service up in Napa, California. Hello, Sophia.
Hi, happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday to you. You know, we're kind of excited. You're one of our newest masters of shop management, and you're joining us.
Thank you. I'm excited too. I always see your links for your videos and all these fun people chatting, but I'm going to be honest, I haven't actually logged on with you guys since COVID. I know it's horrible. I'm going to admit that, but that's when I was always consistently watching you guys was during COVID. And of course, now we're just so slammed. When I have a lunch, I go home and I see my daughter. I don't stay here usually at lunchtime, except for Fridays.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It's good to get out at least once a day. Absolutely, away from the mayhem. So, you know, you've got such an interesting story because you're a family business and you appear to all get along.
Surprisingly, yes.
Which is wonderful because I've worked with a number of family shops where that wasn't the case. In fact, I had one shop up in Washington State. It got so contentious that we had to set a rule that no one could talk to anybody. They had to put everything in writing.
Yes. Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Because if they open their mouth, an argument started.
Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. It is not a perfect world here whatsoever. There is a lot of bickering. Three women and one dad, and I feel bad for dad most of the time.
Well, if I was him, I would just kind of stay out of it, go into the back and tinker.
And when that happens, he thinks, I'm so glad I'm in stage 4, and he goes across the street and gets a coffee.
Yeah, or hop into a sports car and go for a nice long drive through the vineyards.
Oh yes. Lately he's been showing up around 10 a.m. and when he gets in, he just looks at us and he sees our faces. He just can measure the shop atmosphere just looking at us girls, and we're like, are you ready for us now? Are you ready to get the scoop? Do you want to know what we got going on?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, your dad wasn't originally from the automotive repair industry. Is that right?
No, he was always in the automotive repair industry.
Oh, he was. Okay. Because then I misunderstood something about the restaurant business and then the shop. And
yeah, so when he was a child, his parents owned a restaurant business. And so his parents had all of the children working in the restaurant business really early on. And so as he got older, he immediately was drawn to automotive. He would rebuild motorcycles and go-karts, and he would try to tinker on him and his family's cars. And then he ended up getting a job as a technician, just like a lube tech. And then he quickly moved up from there. And then we moved to California in 2000, and he was at one shop this whole time. And then we bought B&B back at the very end of 2015.
Okay, well, that makes so much more sense than going, oh, wait a minute here. He was from the restaurant and then he got into cars.
No. Dad taught us everything we know.
Well, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Now, B&B was an existing shop, right? It'd been there a long time.
Yes. So B&B was in Napa since the 70s, and it had two families owning it over that course of time. And then when we purchased it from the previous owner, he was a very kind gentleman, but he was extremely tired, burnt out, short fused. He was the grump that was answering the phone, you know, and you can tell that you felt like you were bothering him.
Right.
Oh, he was ready to sell. He probably had his shop on the market, I think maybe a month, and it was an ad on Craigslist. And an ad on Craigslist, cheap. And my dad said, you know, maybe I don't need to invest in a Hellcat right now. Maybe I can just buy a shop. And that's pretty much what he did. It was his choice to buy a Hellcat or buy a repair shop.
Fantastic.
And how much of a database did you acquire with it?
He actually did everything on paper work order, but he still had the Mitchell software system. So there was a database in there. I think at the time it was maybe 1,000, 1,500 customer addresses.
Was it one of those cases? Because some of those old guys, sometimes all you'd find is a first name and a phone number.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. So once we started with Drive, they informed us that we just need to go down that list and just call every single person in the list and introduce them. And being that we were so slow, we had the time to physically do that. And so we had to, and then we ended up buying, I guess, a customer list from another business here in town, not an auto repair shop. It was like a motorcycle shop. So we acquired.
Doesn't matter, same people.
Yeah,
Yep.
we acquired that customer
Napa.
list. Yep, exactly. And then we marketed a lot with EDDMs. So we were working with several different companies that were gathering all sorts of new customer acquisition for us. But the biggest thing was just scrubbing through our current database, because a lot of it were all the way back in the 2008, 2000 and earlier. And so a lot of people had passed on, and the address was just, no one was there, or the phone number's disconnected, whatever the case is.
Right.
Right. Not active. Not
a usable data list.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, was it always B&B? Was it always that name, or did you rebrand it?
So we tried. It was actually a really hard part of our takeover, because we originally wanted to call the shop RNC Automotive for my dad's name, Ron Correa. That was his goal. And we actually had RNC Automotive and B&B Foreign Car on the building, and it was very confusing. And we quickly learned that you either need to add and take away. You can't have both. So we decided to keep with the B&B Foreign Car Repair name, because that's what was been in business for many, many years. A lot of when we started with Drive, we kind of talked about it a lot with you guys regarding whether or not we should keep that, only because it limits us only to the foreign cars based on our name. But we ran with it because we thought, we already have to spend a lot of money on marketing dollars anyways. We're just going to market that we are foreign and domestic. We service all makes and models, and it's been really successful for us. And we have a large banner on our building indicating that we work on all makes and models too.
Right, because the name is no longer B&B Foreign.
It is B&B Foreign Car Repair. Back in the day, in about the 70s, 80s, it used to be called Bug and Buggy. So that's where the B&B came from.
Okay.
And we've kept it the B&B Foreign Car Repair this entire time. So it's probably been B&B Foreign Car Repair the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah, that's right. It still is. I thought it had changed to B&B Auto Service.
No, it's just B&B Foreign Car Repair. It's a mouthful, but a lot of people here in town, you just mentioned B&B and everyone knows exactly who you're talking about.
Sure. Yeah. We're not, we're talking about Napa. We're not.
Yeah. Everyone knows
about San Francisco.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any advantage to like someone going, hey, you know what? I see that they do domestic and they're a foreign car place, so they must really know what they're doing. Let me take my domestic car there. You think there's any branding advantage to that? Like a person like,
yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of customers that come in with their Audi or their Volkswagen, and then they mention to us, oh, my husband has a Dodge or they have a Ford. Are you willing to work on that? And I say, of course. There's only a few things that we do turn away because we're honest and we want to let them know, okay, that's a little bit out of our realm. And I think that's okay to do that these days.
Oh, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So we have a lot of people that are mostly just word of mouth. So as soon as they hear that we work on all makes and models, they're immediately, light bulb. Oh, my father. Oh, my daughter. I would love for you to work on them. I receive such great service. I want to bring that car to you too. And I say, no problem.
Right. I had to smile when I looked at your website and I looked at the vehicles that you service, and it brought me back to my early days. Things like MG, Saab, Fiat. I said, oh, she can't be seeing too many of those.
We do. Yes.
You have people who drive like an MG as a daily driver?
Not a daily driver. So being that we are in Napa Valley, most households usually have about 4 cars, and usually 2 of them are the weekend vintage luxury vehicles. So there was actually an auto repair shop here in town. It was called British Auto Repair. And he closed down. It was a really kind of a spectacle that I guess happened here in town. It was he got arrested. So his
Oh,
whole
wow.
shop had to close. And so all of his customers were scrambling, trying to figure out who can work on their MGs and their Land Rovers and Jaguars. And we scooped them all up. We continue to get calls to this day, oh, I went to so-and-so and can't go there no more, because there's a lot of articles written. Everyone has their own judgments about, what happened and so forth. But so we do get a lot of his older clients, and luckily, oh my goodness, Moss Motors is amazing with the.
Isn't Moss Motors great?
Yeah, Moss Motors is amazing for parts. I mean, their diagrams are better than the dealer. I mean, it is wild how easy to understand their diagrams are on their website, and they're so great with finding parts for us too. So I mean, that's the only reason why I would say yes.
They're like the only trick in town anymore.
Yeah.
When it comes to that old British stuff. Yeah. Now, when you took over the business, the ledger was kind of like in an iron lung. You didn't have much business, did you?
Not at all.
And to go from that to master shop management, my hat's off to you. So tell us about that journey.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, it was a struggle. It was quite hard, because at first my dad didn't have me on board because I had a full-time job of my own as a store manager of a kids clothing store. So originally it was just Dad, Cindy, the prior owner, because he was still here wrapping up his projects. As you know, being in business for so many years, you have engines everywhere. You have projects after projects. So he couldn't fully leave the shop until he wrapped up all those projects with those clients. So while he was here, he was gracious enough to actually show Christina how to actually run the shop, as far as the shop management system, how to charge for labor, because we didn't know anything, So, and my dad knew a bit, he's more of the technician side. He doesn't know how to properly quote for
how the front ran.
Yeah, exactly. So we were really blessed to have the previous owner still stick around with us, and kind of finalize everything. So he left officially, as I think in December of 2015. So by January of 2016 is when we fully were alone with just Dad, Cindy, and Christina. And business was really, really slow. And we didn't know what to do. I mean, we were just stuck. So my dad would, tell me, we need to do some marketing, but I don't know where to go. And after, spending all this money up front for buying a business, money was a little tight. We didn't know where else we were going to get money to go ahead and market our business. We didn't know where to begin. So when Dino invited us to that, to the seminar, it was a no-brainer. I mean, everything that Jim Zaley told us about in that seminar, it was just a complete eye-opener for us. And listening to other shop stories, when they stood up and explained, how long they've been with Drive and how successful they are, and how there's still bumps in the road, but they're so much better than prior to starting with Drive. I mean, it was like, take my money, whatever money we have, just take it. We put it on a credit card, and that's just what we had to do. And we went, like I said, we went through several consultants. We changed different, marketing companies for the mailers. There were some growing pains here and there. But I feel like last year is when I felt that we completely made it. We have such a great team now. We're blessed to have a good team that's been with us for a long period of time. I'm always afraid that they'll leave me. That's what I butter up my team so much. I mean, we're always giving donuts. I'm not sure if we buy them lunch every Friday, no matter the sales goals, that no matter if we met owner's break even, we're treating our team to lunch every Friday.
Well, I remember reading that when you were the spotlight shop in our Drive Spotlight, your dad's viewpoint and attitude towards technicians. And I said, he's absolutely right. If you want great guys, you've got to pay them well, and you've got to take good care of them.
Oh, yes.
That's absolutely true.
And we have so many goals of what we want to do for our team and how we want to treat them moving forward. And Christmas time, everyone looks forward to Christmas time. They get big bonuses, and then we go have a nice Brazilian steakhouse dinner, or a nice steak dinner. throughout the year, when I go on vacation, like for instance, I'll pick them, each of the texts just up something, so that way I came back and say, hey, I thought of you. And that's just something that I personally do. But as a team, me and Christina and Dad, we always are thinking of ways to kind of give back to the techs, whether it's just a little prize, if they got the best build hours. For a while, we were doing Star of the Week and things like that. And we're raffling off gift cards, just something to keep them really entertained. And now that I hired a receptionist, which is someone who's not family now on the front counter.
Oh my gosh.
This is a whole nother beast, someone else is getting more involved with our family because we already feel like a close, tight-knit family as is. So now as we're trying to still broaden and expand our team, I'm still trying to think of, okay, how is that new person going to feel welcomed with our current team,
Sure.
So
Awesome.
I already want to make sure everyone's happy and loved already.
Yeah, that care factor is so important. We always talk about it with customers, but it's vitally important. We always talk about it with employees too.
Right.
Let me ask you, what training from Drive did you receive that you feel had such a big impact on your path to success? Is there any particular workshops or training you received?
Honestly, it would have to be the time that both Christina and I were lucky enough to both attend the service advisor school down in Southern California. Because I think it's service advisor school and controlling the front. I don't know how you guys pair it. Oh, gosh, I feel like it was so long ago that we did that. That was the biggest eye opener because her and I are the ones that deal firsthand with the customers. And we realized that there was so much opportunity that we had, we were giving quotes over the phone left and right, customers were asking us for a break. I mean, we're cutting estimates in half just to get the sale, because we were slow. We were afraid to lose that customer.
Mm-hmm.
And then luckily, as time went on, we realized that no, we have value. We need to add value to that quote. And if they didn't understand that the value that's built into that estimate, then we made a mistake. We didn't clarify something for them. So if I need to clarify it again, if they need to send the report to a family member to get further clarification, and I can be more than happy to chat with them about it. That's really the direction that we went. So that was the best class, I think, for her and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest, she's probably doing a lot more of the workshops, the online workshops now with you guys moving forward. She's the direct connect with ERCON, and then she just kind of gives me and my dad kind of an update as far as what she's talked about with ERCON. I haven't done so much myself, only because I am still in the front every day,
Right.
So the biggest thing though is we're all considered owners, my dad and sisters. So we all are really blessed enough to be able to actually take long vacations throughout the year. I know in my speech, I bragged about how dad's able to take multiple vacations. Well, in reality, all of us girls are able to too. And that just goes to show how successful we have been.
That's wonderful. I love that you guys can take long vacations. That's great.
And it's nice that you figured out the organization of the shop so that you're not stepping on each other's toes and you stay in your own lanes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's very simple. Cindy's a technician. I'm a service advisor. Christina's an office manager. I mean, there's really no overlapping there except for me and Christina, but she only steps in if I'm overloaded and I need her. So that's why we're all separate in our own little lanes here. And then of course, dad is just the brains in the back. When all the techs need help, he'll be the one to run to and assist them. And don't get me wrong, he's still doing diagnostics on occasion because you can't duplicate that 30 years experience with the technicians that we have right now.
No, he just knows.
Yes, exactly. And the fact that he's still doing his best and trying to train our current staff. I mean, that's just what you have to do these days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I have to thank Dino for introducing us to you.
Yeah,
Dino's a great guy, and he's got a wonderful business.
Yeah. Another auto body shop recognized his name. They know Dino as well.
Yeah.
And how do you guys know Dino? Like, do you guys are family friends or?
Yeah. So my dad loves dirt bike riding, and so does Dino.
Oh yeah.
So that's how they met, and they met through my so my dad's cousin is Al Martinez, and he was a Matco tool distributor in Northern California. He now owns an auto repair shop himself. He just acquired it last year. So we are definitely, trying to get him on board with Drive. And he has some growing pains, of course, now being in a shop versus a tool truck, visiting all these different shops. Now he's
different business.
Exactly. Yep. But ironically enough, he owned an auto repair shop way back in New York, I think in the 80s. So he's not completely new to the game, but that's how
it's a very different business than it was in the 80s.
In the 80s, exactly.
Oh yes, we talk about how he made a mistake of it was like I think he was offering free oil changes, I think something like that. Yes.
Wow.
Something crazy. And the goal was to obviously do your inspections and upsell, right? Well, I guess there was like a line of cars around the block.
Yeah, right.
To get in for service, and there was just no time to perform the inspections. People were just like, "Oh, here we go, and sending them on their way." And it was like the worst business decision he could have made. But back then he was young too. He was, I think, in his early 20s when he had the shop. Very young.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So did you have fun at the expo?
Oh, we had a blast. We love Vegas. we love Vegas. We were in Vegas last year for the Napa Expo because we are a Napa Auto Care Center. So, and my mom loves Vegas. She loves to gamble. Us girls, we love to gamble. My dad just likes to party. So Vegas is a good time for all of us.
Yeah. And well, obviously being, awarded masters is kind of, it's very special. It's not kind of special. It's very special. And the awards dinner is something that all shops should experience.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I would love to be able to bring my whole team there next time because, we all work so hard, and that's what I was talking about how much I want to still continue to give back to them. And I would love to be able to treat them to an expo where we are receiving another award so that way they can all be there and they can enjoy their vacation and just come and hang out with us just for that dinner. And they're welcome to do whatever they want the rest of their trip.
Yeah. Well, Master Elite's your next step.
That's right. What I've been told.
You can't rest on your laurels. I mean, pat yourself on the back. Very well done. But there's another hill to climb here. Yeah. In fact, I think they're going to post the video, Tony, in the chat.
I don't know about that. I could check.
I thought Chase was going to do that.
Oh, of my speech?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Oh no, it's a wonderful speech. You did a great job.
Thank you. I was so incredibly nervous. I was like, I hope I'm one of the first ones so I can just get it out. Luckily,
oh, it was wonderful. You're a great public speaker, and there's no question about that. And that was a great speech. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I actually we advertise on the radio just for finding a technician. We used to advertise well, I guess we still do. So our town has a local radio station, and they do what's called Free Food Fridays. So we sponsor the food for that event. So it's a raffle that they do with their listeners. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing it, I think, like 2 years now. And then of course we advertise that we're looking for a technician. So I go in and I do recordings for the radio. So my voice is playing all the time. And so when customers call and they actually get me, they're like, oh, I heard you.
That's great.
It's her.
Yeah, they're like, you like Flo from Progressive commercial.
Yeah. Speaking of customers, you do something that I've been in this business a long time. I've worked with lots and lots of jobs, but you do something special with your customers. I said, that's very clever. And it has to do with finding something in their car that you've left for them.
Yes. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with cruising. So going on cruise ships and finding, they have little rubber duckies hidden on cruise ships. And usually there's a little tag around their neck indicating the occasion. So usually it's happy anniversary, and then it has the names and then the dates, and it says, something, a cute little quote. Well, my sister, Christina, she really loves cruising. So she came across this idea of hiding the ducks on the cruise ship. And she said, well, why don't we do that with customers' cars? And why don't we do that with locally throughout our town? And at first I was like, well, that seems kind of expensive. Rubber duckies can get kind of costly. And then we got to make the little tags, and they got to take the time to tie them on. And I was like, this is going to seem like a lot of money, but at the end of the day, everyone loves it. So during our quality control process, our technician will hide a rubber ducky in their vehicle. Keep in mind, it's very simple places, usually glove box, center console, door jams, very simple, not under the hood, not in their trunk, nothing crazy like that. I don't want them to
under
think
the seat.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't want them
exactly.
to think that we're rummaging through their car. So usually, and then we try to remind them about that at checkout. Usually that conversation at checkout can just be so much information. Plus we also give them a lot of extra goodies at the end of their visit. So sometimes I like forget to mention, oh, keep an eye out for that little rubber ducky that's hidden in your car. When they bring it back, it's worth $5 off their next visit. Just something cute and silly. A lot of the times their kids don't want mommy and daddy to return it back, and it's no problem. They get to just enjoy the duck. Other times, just today, I had somebody return back 5 ducks at one time.
$5.
Wow.
That's how often she's been here.
The ducks came back to roost.
Yeah, exactly. And then we give away the little lottery scratchers too at the end of every visit.
That's great too. That
Yeah,
is really good.
those are great ideas. Customer retention and so much the modern day customer is so much looking for that experience.
Absolutely.
It's much more than just getting their car repaired. They want that experience, and that's what they express on social media is how good or bad their experience was.
Exactly. And I look at it this way. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, we have to have a profit and loss statement, right? If I have a profit, Uncle Sam's going to take their nice little cut of it.
Absolutely.
I'm doing my best to make sure that I
show no profit.
Any expenses as I can. I'm going to make sure that I'm investing that money right back into the business on all these little goodies that's going to make that a lasting experience for the client. And usually that's what wins them over and makes them go ahead and do that referral.
That's great.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, your speech was posted in the Facebook. So if anybody wants to, it's a link there. If anybody wants to go watch it, it's wonderful.
Definitely worth watching it.
Absolutely.
It brought tears to my eyes because
Thank you. I was nervous because I didn't want, it's such a nice quality of video, but at the end of the day, I talked about finances and what we make and kind of what we charge. And I didn't want to feature that on my actual website, on my shop.
The numbers.
Sure.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to sound like I'm really bragging. I feel like this is just kind of a family thing, shared amongst family and friends,
Yeah.
And what are your numbers these days, just by chance?
So right now we're at, Christina specifically left that part for me because I typically don't know the numbers offhand. We already broke 1 million. So we're almost at 1.1. But our goal this year was 1.25. So it's a little bit of a high stretch. We'll see.
You still have time.
And
where did you start? Your first year in business was some ridiculous low number.
You were doing 3 cars a day.
Yeah, 3 cars a day. It was awful. Yeah, it was very, very embarrassing. So,
or a week. You said a week. 3 cars a week.
Yeah, 3 cars a week. Yeah, 3 to 10 a week. Yeah. So yeah, now it's much better. So yeah, we're pretty much. I don't know why she this one here. Let's see here. Yeah, the last time I checked, it was almost 1.1 is where we're at for sales for the year. And we have a lot of project cars that we haven't even picked up. We're still underway with them.
Yeah. Well, you busted that million mark, which is very
awesome.
well done.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe we're coming up on our half hour. It goes by so fast.
Oh, we're all finished.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Tony's got some announcements, but Sophia, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and once again, congratulations on your success, and I wish you nothing but continued success, and looking forward to you making Master Elite and continuing on your path to stardom here.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much.
It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Pleasure.
Okay, and I'll give a couple of announcements. We're going to tease next week. We got Eddie Lawrence. He'll be here. We have Dan Vasquez. He'll be here. He's another master. And we have Dan and Chris Bollinger, which a funny story. I learned how to say her name correctly when I saw her get her master's this at the last expo in Vegas. It's Bollinger. It's not Bollinger.
So it's Bollinger. Okay.
So they'll be here next Friday. And of course, don't forget to sign up for the expo.
Right.
Thank you again, Sophia, for being here.
Yeah. Good
Thank
show.
you.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.